Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. This is Simon with AvaTrade. Welcome back to our weekly webinar, Mapping Out Your Week Ahead. And I apologize for not making the last week's webinar. As I warned you, I was traveling and it was a little bit hard to produce the webinar when I was abroad technically, so we skipped one. All right, special welcome to new people and just what to expect from this webinar. We're trying to make a plan for the week, and that's exactly what traders are saying when using the phrase, you plan your trade, then you trade your plan. This way, of course, you cannot guarantee the success, but definitely you remove more reactivity and more chaos from your trading and make it more organized. A few things about myself. My name is Simon Friedman. I'm a senior account manager with AvaTrade. I've been trading for over 25 years. I started as a prop trader in New York City. And after doing that for about 11 years, I moved on to a different way of trading and also started to educate and mentor others. And I'm very happy to have this great opportunity to be assisting our customers at AvaTrade. So what we do, we talk about indices, stocks, commodities. We start with some fundamentals. We'll go through winners and losers for the week. We'll take a look at economic calendar, and then we move to the charts to look at things from the technical point of view and try to put all those things together. It will help us to understand the upcoming week and possibly plan some actions. Risk warning, what we do here, of course, it's purely educational. We do not suggest any trades. You can find the full statement at avatrade.com. Social media channels, please subscribe and follow us on Telegram, X, and YouTube. As I usually say, YouTube is my favorite. You have a huge collection of educational material, tutorials, and webinars, including this one. We do record webinars and we post them on YouTube. So if you missed the webinar or you just want to browse through the past webinars, feel free to get on our channel. Of course, you can subscribe and click on that bell so you'll be notified for new things coming in. And of course, if you are watching this on YouTube, don't forget to click likes if you like it, share it with people that might benefit from it, and also you can write your feedback, questions. We'll be happy to hear from you. All right, so last week, it was a busy week, right? Even though we are heading towards the end of August. This upcoming week is going to be the last week of August, which usually is the most slowest probably week and the least is going on the markets. But as we know, with President Trump and everything else going on, it's never boring, right? So last week, the highlight of the week was the symposium that's taking place once a year, and it was really moving the market. The market's been selling a little bit, and then when we heard the statement or pretty much statement of Powell on the ongoing situation, and there was a key phrase, I'm gonna quote it here, what he said the following: with policy in restrictive territory, the baseline outlook and the shifting balance of risk may warrant adjusting our policy stance. That's what he said. So the market really ran. We had a nice move. Dow Jones actually ran the most. It was up 846 points or 1.9% and making all-time high. The first time for this year, unlike the other two, NASDAQ and S&Ps, they've been constantly making the highs, right? So it's a huge achievement for Dow Jones. So NASDAQ was up 1.9%, S&P was up 1.5%. We'll take a look at the charts when we get there. And we'll take a look at also at the CME Fed Watch. It immediately jumped to 83%, I think, when this speech was going on. So here's an interesting article, another one, this is from Barron's. Stock markets allowing Powell's rate pivot. These reports could undo it. And as we know, the next meeting, an announcement will be happening on the 17th of September. And prior to that, we have two reports that could actually change or improve things, right? We have the NFP, the first Friday of the month, which will be the following week. And then we have the CPI data, the inflation data that could probably will, which way we don't know, will affect the Fed's decision. As everything they do, as Powell always says, it's driven by data that they receive. So something to pay attention to, of course. Also, we had a nice move on cryptocurrencies with the speech. We had the jump in Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP. We'll take a look at the charts as well. So it was positive to the equity markets. It was positive to crypto markets. The dollar sold, the yen ran up, gold went up. We'll take a look at the charts when we get there. Another good news possibly here, it says Canada rolls back tariffs on most US goods. And this is good for the companies, of course, first of all, that do business with Canada. It says right here, Canada will drop its regulatory tariffs on most US goods on September 1st, Prime Minister Mark Carney announced after cabinet meeting on Friday. Right, that's a very positive thing for the US. Now, take a look. This is the FedWatch tool. You can just Google it, CME FedWatch, and you can watch it live. Take a look. About a month ago, the probability of rate cut was 58%. A week ago, it was 85. A day ago was 84, and now it dropped. Interestingly enough, over the weekend, it dropped to 75%, according to this source here. So let's see how this upcoming week plays. Again, it's the last week of August. It could be slow as usual, but you never know. Economic calendar. Just a few things, especially for new people. This is public information. You can access it on our web trader or the app. We can just Google it. It's available to everyone. And I think every trader or active trader should be aware of upcoming things. What I do here, I take out only high impact events. And as you could see here, it's in red. There's so much more. If you are looking through it, you can filter and browse through it and choose what's relevant to your trading. So again, this is the high impact events only. And we have Sunday, which is today, later on, we have retail sales from New Zealand. We have meeting minutes from Bank of Australia on last meeting. We have Governor Bank of Canada speaking. That's already on Tuesday, both of these events. CPI numbers from Australia on Wednesday. Thursday, we have Switzerland reporting GDP numbers and also GDP numbers from US. Inflation data from Japan. And Friday, we have retail sales from Germany, GDP numbers from Canada, and core personal consumption expenditure, also important inflation numbers from US that the Feds are watching. So these are the high impact events for the upcoming week. And we're gonna move on. Now, winners and losers. I didn't include any FX because it was not super significant. So these are the futures. Most of it is commodity. Only Nikkei here is included. So on a positive note, we had coffee moving. We'll take a look at the charts. If you remember, we mentioned coffee with possible effect of tariffs on Brazil. That was something that I was thinking about and sharing with you. We'll take a look at the chart. So huge move on coffee, 13% for the week. Gasoline was up. You see the whole energy sector was up. Gasoline was up 4.15. Heating oil 378. Crude oil 289%. Also metals ran, especially after the speech of Powell. Silver was up 238. Palladium up 190. Platinum 139. And gold was up 102. To the negative side, we had natural gas sliding lower, 10.8%. Cocoa down 5.39, and Nikkei was down 1.14. The big effect of Nikkei, of course, was the yen running after the Powell speech. So these are the winners and the losers, and we're going to move now to the trading terminal, take a look from the technical perspective. So as usual, we start with indices. Let's take a look. China is continuing running. Friday was a huge move on China. Just to remind us, we've been trading in the channel for a very long time. And since we start breaking, another attempt to break started in the beginning of August. It really caught some energy, as they say, tailwind, and we are moving higher, closing at 14,880. If you zoom out on the weekly chart, if we continue that way, there's a way to go to the next resistance here. Now, Japanese index had a negative week, as we see here, after making this recent strong move to the upside. We had a correction here on the week. So the weekly, we did have a negative week after 2 strong weeks to the upside. Now, US indices, we'll start with Dow Jones. As we said, finally on Friday actually made all-time high. It's been trying for a long time. It was a strong move on Friday, all-time high, the first one this year. Now that means that there's no resistance there, right? All-time high. We could continue higher. We could turn around and go correcting. We'll find out what's next. Nasdaq, it's been sliding pretty much the whole week, and then Friday with Powell's speech, we bounced right off the 50-day moving average here, closing at 23,579. And S&Ps look stronger. Friday, we actually erased the whole week of losses, right? We closed pretty much at the opening. Why am I guessing? It's right here. So weekly chart, opening price for the week, 64.80 in a quarter. Close price, 64.84. It actually closed the week in green by 4 points. So as you could see, indices had a nice turnaround on Friday on the speech of Powell. Germany, we are facing that resistance, the initial resistance from June 5th. So a lot of actions here. We briefly jumped out of it, but then came right back. And as of now, this level around 24,500 is still holding as a resistance. FTSE UK, FTSE 100 has been super strong. This past week was another move, very strong move to the upside. And we are at the all-time high territory. So there's no reference as far as resistance, and we'll find out what's next. So that's as far as indices, and moving to stocks. Let's take a quick look what the Magnificent Seven group is doing. They've been selling, and then Friday we bounced. This is Apple, Amazon, similar story, going down to 50-day moving average and bouncing on Friday. Microsoft, it did bounce, not so strongly, sitting right on 50-day moving average here. So as you could see, since the recent highs, the major stocks have been sliding lower a little bit. Google is actually looking strong here, trading at the all-time highs. So from the whole group, I think Google looks the strongest. Meta also bounced on Friday, but we're still below the all-time highs, obviously. Tesla had a nice move, erasing the whole week of losses. And let's move to MT5. We're going to take a look at NVIDIA stock. Now, big part this week, of course, is the earning report from NVIDIA. It's happening on Wednesday after the close of the market. As you could see here, Nvidia was trying to break through the previous resistance here. Then we sold on the 18th, on the 19th. Then we'll continue sliding and recover on the 20th. The 21st was a flat day. And then it looks like we gapped down on Friday, but then moved. Here we go, moved higher when Powell started speaking. So Nvidia, very important, of course, at the earning reports, and it's happening on Wednesday after the market. Now, we did have few developments in stocks. One is UNH, a famous company. It's been a lot of going on this year with the CEO being murdered and they're having issues and so on. The latest thing that Warren Buffett has been buying lately, the shares of UNH, and that pushed the shares of the company higher this past week. We had a gap, and we are holding here between 50 and 100-day moving average here. So let's see what's next. Will this momentum continue to the upside or not? So that's UNH. Another one, it was Zoom Technology. It reported great earnings, and take a look, we came straight to the resistance of June 5th, from which we start selling, making, I think this was the first lower high followed by lower low and the turn of the trend. Now take a look, this super strong move on Friday to the upside, stopping right at this level here. So the high here on the June 5th was 82.38. We closed 82.40, 2 cents higher than this resistance. Just mark it. So we'll watch that level. Okay, so that's on Zoom. We spoke about Nvidia, UNH. Buffett is buying. Now, two instruments that we mentioned. UVXY, it's an ETF for VIX. It's been selling as the market ran up on Friday. And if you zoom out, we are approaching, possibly approaching this level from June 18, the week of June 18, 2023, from which we had a huge move to the upside. We had few big moves. We had another one here in August of 2024, and then we had another big move. Was the announcement right before that with the so-called liberation bill, right, with the tariffs. So since then, we've been sliding. There's a possibility that we will reach this level of support and retest it. We'll find out, but we are at this serious level here on VIX UVXY ETF. Another one that's been sliding, another ETF is SQQQs. Here we go. It's been selling as the Nasdaq continues moving higher. We did have an attempt to break through. We're still trading. This is daily chart, trading below 50-day moving average. We had a nice attempt, 3 consecutive days to the upside, and then we went down on Friday with Nasdaq running up. So we'll continue watching this ETF as well. I think one more thing, we'll take a look at the banks. The banks had a nice run. Goldman's been sliding the whole week, and then Friday we moved higher. JP Morgan has been sitting on this level here around 289, 290, and Friday we moved higher here. Bank of America looks super strong here. Actually, we are at the all-time highs almost. So Bank of America had a nice run, breaking the previous resistance here this past week. Citigroup also bounced. So the whole bank sector bounced nicely on Friday, recovering or partially recovering the previous losses. All right, so that's as far as stocks. We'll see how this week will play, of course. And again, NVIDIA is reporting on Wednesday after market close. Now, moving to commodities, we'll go through the winners and losers. We'll start with coffee. Finally, the move did happen. If you remember, we spoke about coffee, and I mentioned to you a few times that tariffs on Brazil reminded me the idea of cocoa with shortage of cocoa. So when I heard the tariffs on Brazil, I think it was 50% idea. I don't know where it stands now. So immediately I thought about coffee. It took a while for it to develop, and it just shows you the dynamics of the market. Nothing goes straight up or straight down. We did bounce initially, then we corrected, established the support here, then we couldn't move higher. We made a lower low here actually that possibly made some traders change their mind and get out. And then we just from there, the double bottom here, we just continued higher. Since then, we had small corrections here on the 6th of August and on the 12th of August. The rest of the days were super strong move up, and the growing volume just supports it, as you could see. A big move on coffee. The question is what's next? We just closed actually above the previous resistance here, approximate line. So June 6th, the high was 376.10. We closed a couple of dollars higher than that. So it looks very strong. The question is, will we continue higher? Will we correct and take some profits? We'll find out. You take a look at the weekly chart. We have 3 consecutive weeks to the upside. As you could see, the weekly volume is supporting it. As you could see, as we go higher, the volume increases. It's a healthy sign of a real move to the upside. So that's on coffee, up 13.11%. Gasoline had an up week. We are trading above all the moving averages here. The question is what's next? Heating oil as well had a nice move. We did break through 200-day moving average, trading below 50. Crude oil, 63.74. Had the whole week pretty much going higher. We're still below this resistance, 64.11, around $64. Having a hard time breaking it in the past few weeks. Metals had a run. Friday was a strong day for metals. Silver was up 2.38% for the week. If we continue higher, we might be retesting the recent resistance. Palladium, after settling here, take a look, it was a lot of actions here in the past. It's July, around 1104. Then we came in August, also trying to break through. We couldn't, sitting on a 100-day moving average here and holding that level. So we could be facing the upside move. As you could see here, we couldn't break the level on 2 long attempts here. That's palladium, platinum. Also been trading around here, around these levels here, forming pretty much a channel here. Let's just mark it for visuals. So this was the initial stop on that sell-off. And this was the high of this range. As you could see here, we've been accumulating for a long time, for almost a month. The question is what's next, right? And just remind us something that I mentioned with platinum, that platinum is trying to play catch up with gold. And if you remember, I shared with you that data from 2014, that back then platinum was $200 more expensive than gold back in 2014 per ounce. So let's take a look what's happening. This is serious accumulation, and it will be followed with some serious move, either upside or downside. That's on platinum. And gold, up 1% for the week, 1.02. We are so far holding this upside trend, and let's see how this upcoming week plays. Of course, the whole focus is on Fed's and interest rate decision, which got boosted by Powell's speech again on Friday, and we have data coming up before that decision, September 17th. Now to the downside, we had natural gas continuing sliding. Here we go. We closed at 269. A very crowded chart here for some reason. But if we are continuing lower, we might be coming to this level around 218. Or before that, with the levels of around 280, which we broke already. Let's see. The low of around 258, 250. So as you could see here, we're so far having 6 consecutive weeks to the downside. So natural gas is experiencing a lot of pressure and a clear downtrend here. So we'll continue watching it. Cocoa with a lot of stories, as I mentioned, the shortage caused it to move higher. We had a breakout here, but it did look, if you take away that spike, it did look like a double top. And then from then we continue sliding lower. We are holding this level around 7,600 as of now. So for the week, we had a sell-off, the second consecutive week to the downside. And that's it for commodities. We'll move to Forex. We'll start with dollar index. It did react to Powell's speech. It was a big sell-off on Friday, closing below 50-day moving average here. So that would be logical if we take a look at the major currencies that had a nice move to the upside on Friday. Pound moved to the upside. Aussie, strong move, erasing the 3 previous days of sell-off. New Zealand dollar as well. Swiss franc gained strength. Of course, euro dollar broke through the previous sell-off. And yen was probably the strongest move. We did go below 200 with that decision. I'm just going to show you hourly chart just to show you the extent of that speech. So that's the speech of Powell when it started. It was a huge move to the downside. We're talking about 200 pips, right? 148.60s to 146.60s. So 200 pips within an hour. Strong move on a huge volume. And question is, what's going to happen next, right? The moment Powell opened the door, in a way, as they say, to possible rate cut, it's logical. Dollar just dropped because the rate cut makes dollar cheaper. So the question is, will that rate cut happen or not? And again, dollar index, we are holding actually this support. Even when there's a strong sell-off, we came right to the support of mid-August. The low here was 97.43, followed by 97.45, and this low spiked 2 cents below this support and then bounced a little bit. So that's dollar index, and the currencies. We'll continue watching it, of course, and we'll watch the dollar index in general. If we do break this 97.40s, we might test the earlier support around 96.80s right here. And if we are holding and we have some positive things for the dollar, we might actually bounce from here. So that's as far as currencies. Again, yen had a very strong move, and I think it's worth watching what yen did against the other currencies. So it was flat against Aussie. Canadian dollar sold strongly. Swiss franc sold a little bit against the yen. Euro sold a little bit, almost flat. And New Zealand dollar sold against the yen. So it looks like on Friday, with that Powell speech and reaction of the market, yen actually gained the most out of all the major FX currencies. All right. And for dessert, as usual, we'll take a look at the cryptocurrencies. We had a nice move to the upside on Bitcoin after holding the previous support around 111, 112,000. And now over the weekend, we're kind of selling, erasing about half of that move so far. XRP, it looks like there was a lot of panic the moment we broke the $3 mark. And on Friday, we moved as low as 277. I just want to show you 1 hour chart. We moved to 270s here. And then when Powell speech affected the market, it was a huge move. We went straight from below 280s to above $3. We ended up that rally as high as 310, currently trading at 302. So strong move on XRP. It just shows when we reach around 3 or below 3, the buyers are coming and pushing the instrument higher. All right, that's it pretty much for our fundamentals and technicals for the week. And just want to put all those things together in a few sentences. The highlight of this past week was Powell's speech in a symposium, which got everyone excited. The markets reacted to the upside. Cryptocurrency reacted to the upside. Metals reacted to the upside, and dollars sold. All the signs that we might see that rate cut. Also, some analysts saying that with this speech and indications of Powell, they see possible 3 interest rate cuts into the end of the year. I guess we'll see. We're not going to guess. We'll just see how they come and what's happening. We have NVIDIA reporting on Wednesday. We have some economic data that is important, core personal consumption expenditure and GDP numbers. And of course, the following week before the 17th decision, we have the NFP numbers. We'll be talking about it our next webinar. And the inflation, they might support that cut or do the opposite. All right, don't forget about our social media channels. Subscribe, follow us up, write your comments, click the likes. And I want to wish everyone a good weekend. Enjoy it, spend some good times with your loved ones, get some energy, prepare yourself for the big upcoming week, and wish everyone lots of success. All the best.